Good morning from Toronto. Holy Christ. You're quite possibly some of the worst drivers in the world here, right? Wow. They're a big fan of the horns in their cars here, right? You can hear it. It's crazy. This poor police guy, he's just waving his stick. There's cars going everywhere. This is kind of morning time here. It's 8:07 in the morning, and this is a major intersection. And I've never seen drivers so crazy as these people here. Sarah, what do you think of that traffic?
That was insane.
Oh my God. So we've been up for a couple hours. Actually, we've been up for quite a while. We didn't sleep that well, but we've had our morning burek and we're just having a little walk around the city and taking in some of the traffic chaos, right? And it's a pretty nice city in the morning. It's, I don't know, maybe 15 degrees, sunny. It's gonna be a nice day. We're gonna go to the, what are we going to today, Sarah?
The National Historic Museum.
National Historic Museum. That's up by Skanderbeg Square, which is the center of the town. So anyway, we're happy to take you along with us today. You never know what you're gonna find on any side street you turn on. There's like, every street just about has every kind of store you need. You know, this is another little alley we're on. This is a small street, and you know, there's more produce and more clothing, and here's the thing of, this is nuts.
So we graded by size here, right? So the 400 left for the small ones and 1,000 for the biggest ones.
You got all your olives and stuff like this, right? Lentils. Amazing. The smell of the olives and all that stuff, that's great. Sarah was just saying they grade their nuts, and that's where you pay by size. There's a fish store. Doesn't matter where you go, there's fresh food and stuff being sold. Everything here is like organic. You don't need to buy anything that's you know, pre-packaged or anything like that. You could buy fresh food every single day here and feed yourself very well. So we're just on our way to Skanderbeg Square. It's the big sort of central part of the city. It's a huge square. It's kind of like marble, and it's the size of like a few soccer fields. It's massive. I guess they call it football. Look at this, some interesting architecture here. Look at this building here. Here's a statue. This is the guy Skanderbeg. He's like pretty important in the history of this country. It's quite the statue. It's huge. This whole square is just massive. That's our man Skanderbeg. It's pretty. That's huge, eh, Sarah? What are your impressions of the square here?
Oh, it's always impressive. We seem to have finished some construction since we were last here, and they finished the mural on the opera house, or the museum reconstruction.
Right.
That was all tented off before.
One thing about Albania, if you're bothered by cigarette smoke, you'll probably be bothered by it here, because with the cafe culture, like cigarette smoking is still a really big thing, and man, it doesn't matter where you sit, you can just smell cigarettes throughout the whole city, right? So if it bothers you, you know, maybe something to think about, but you know, it's you just smell it everywhere. Sarah looked up the museum on the internet. She said thought it opened at 10, but we've seen people going in, so that's the thing here, you just never know, right? Information doesn't mean what's the truth. So if it says the bus is going to be there at 10, it might not be there at all, or it could be there at 10 to 10. So, you know, it's kind of like everything's kind of a little bit, what would you call it, Sarah? It's not so super organized. So we're going to check it out and see if it's open. Well, we did the museum. What'd you think of that?
It was all right. There were bits that were kind of low content, but there was some interesting stuff.
Right. How much was it to get in?
500 lek each.
Right. So for two people, that's about how much?
About $13.50 Canadian.
Right. $13.50 Canadian. Get you in. It's pretty big. It's like 4 floors. There's no air conditioning. It's pretty warm in there, and they got some fans blowing. We didn't take any photos. There's no photos allowed, but that's not stopping most of the tourists in there. They're taking photos like crazy. And anyway, the security people didn't seem to mind too much, so maybe they just don't want confrontation. Who knows? I'll respect the signs. That's I think that's important, you know. These are important things that you know, artifacts from the country. There's a lot of old stuff in there. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, we're back to the Albanian traffic jam here. Once you get off the main road, these little side streets are a little more quiet. The main roads are pretty hectic. Lots of bikes here. A lot of people just ride their bikes everywhere. Makes sense. I think if you lived here within like a 5-block radius of your house, you would have access to every single thing you needed. Like there's just repetition of so many things. Food places, ice cream places, snack places, little hardware stores. Fruit stands, you name it. Cobblers. Like there's everything. Little cafes everywhere. Lots of scooters. So if you lived here, sir, do you think you'd want a car or a scooter or a bicycle?
Scooter.
A scooter. I agree. I think scooter would be the way to go. You'd want, you can get a lot of these 400cc ones like Suzuki's and stuff that'll go on the highway. That would be ideal. It's amazing you don't see more accidents here the way they drive, right? Particularly like the scooters and motorbike guys. There doesn't seem to be a helmet law in Albania. And some of these guys, they drive pretty crazy, right? But they're obviously used to it, and that's what they're in all the time, right? The roads are narrow and tiny, right? You can see the vehicles just go, and people kind of just move to the side, and nobody gets run over, which is amazing. Market again. It's just non-stop shops, right? People are out all the time shopping. You see them with their bags of, I think people buy their groceries every day, right? Sarah's making us some brunch. Making an omelet. One of the things that Sarah found interesting today when she went to the store Where did you buy the eggs at?
The dairy place, the cheese store.
At the cheese place. So at the cheese place you can buy eggs, but you can buy them. We think you can buy them by the pair. So she asked for 3, and she was sold 4. But I think we're thinking maybe they're sold in pairs. Looks like we're gonna have omelets for lunch. Here she comes again. Oh my God. What a gong show. She's not even staying here. She's leaving. Wow. I just had a little nap. It's pretty hot in the afternoon. So had a maybe 3-hour nap, and then when you're walking around TIRANA, you see a lot of nice melons. Sarah's decided she wants to go back and get some. So we're walking up the street. We're not sure which street we saw them on, but we're heading back up that way, right? So we'll see if we find these melons she's looking for. So I was just saying to Sarah, if you find some nice things when you're out, you need to buy them when you see them, because when you go back, you can't figure out which stand it was at, because there's so many of these sort of fruit and vegetable places, right? There's just stuff everywhere, right? So now we're wandering, trying to find the precise melons that Sarah thought were the ones to get. Where are the melons at, do you know? No, you can't see them. Well, I guess we'll keep checking for the melons here. Well, we haven't found the melons yet, but we found the lovely girl's intimate shop. Looks like it's all bras. Like I said, there is a lot of melons when you're walking around in TIRANA. I'm about to get smacked, I can see that. Oh. Well, Sarah's cooking so terrible, we've decided we need to go to a restaurant for a change. So we're heading up to, what is it called?
Zgara Supreme.
Zgara Supreme. So we're just having dinner here at the, what's it called? We don't know what it's called, but it's pretty good. We got meatballs, stuffed peppers, French fries. What else? Skewers, kebabs. And yeah, it's good downtown. Ran into a Canadian girl who's actually working as a scientist at Oxford in England. It's kind of interesting to run into her. She heard our Canadian A accents and was like, oh my god, more Canadians. Highly unusual. I haven't seen any other Canadians here. North American tourists are not very common actually here. That was kind of interesting. How's your food, Sarah?
Very good.
Get you while you got a mouthful of food. the call de prayer in the background. Coming from the mosque. It's pretty nice here in that, actually. So we just had a real nice dinner. Met a couple from the UK, they were having dinner. Also from Oxford, the same as the scientist. Pretty cool. Great dinner, eh, Sarah?
Yes.
So that entire dinner was like $14. Pretty good value. That was like a few different dishes we had. What do we have? Meatballs, fries, stuffed peppers. What else? What was the other thing? Oh, kebabs. Kebabs, chicken. Were they chicken kebabs? Pork kebabs. That was pretty good. So we're pretty full. That was a couple hours for dinner, maybe an hour and a half for dinner. Just strolling back to the place here. So this looks like a garbage shit show, but I can assure you, this starts off clean every morning. And then they'll come pick it up in the morning. It'll be nice and clean again. Nobody has any bins near their house. They all are on the main street. And you just bring your garbage down every day. And then in the morning they clean it up. The bins will be empty. And everybody's good to go.